What's going on, y'all? Today we got 9 times Stephen Curry went too far. Get the butter biscuit in real fast. Listen to the net. Just listen to the net. That's all you need to hear. I missed.
Someone told you 20 years ago that there would one day be a 6-foot, 170-pound guard who will forever change the way basketball was played. He doesn't jump out the gym like Jordan or overwhelm you with size and speed like LeBron. So what makes him so special? Perhaps no player ever has intimidated defenses more than Steph Curry. I mean, how do you game plan against a guy who was a threat to score as soon as he crosses half court? The remarkable package of long-range shooting, flashy ball handling, and jaw-dropping finishing around the rim makes him a terror to guard. Oh, and those 40-foot shots? Yeah, those are flat-out disrespectful. Here are 9 times the baby-faced assassin struck fear into his opponents. The Warriors bursted onto the scene in 2015, winning 67 games during the regular season en route to their first NBA championship in 40 years. It was an unlikely coming-out party for Golden State, particularly because they won a not-so-eye-catching 51 games during the 2014 season. So here the Warriors were in their first NBA Finals appearance since 1975, and going against the consensus greatest player in the world, LeBron James. Now, LeBron was determined to gift-wrap his coming-home party by winning the first championship for Cleveland in over 50 years. So the table was set, pressure was mounted, and yeah, there was a lot at stake. With the series teetering at 2 games apiece, Steph put the NBA world on notice by pouring in 37 points on a blistering 54% from 3 to help Golden State seize momentum. Now, this was arguably a legacy game for Curry because it was after his Game 5 heroics that speculation began over Steph's newly acquired status as the best player in the game. Now, when LeBron was asked about Curry's play in an interview after Game 5, he, perhaps feeling the need to defend his throne, said simply,
"I feel confident because I'm the best player in the world."
And the Warriors, though facing an injury-ravaged Cleveland team, ended up closing out the series on the road in Game 6. They officially put the NBA world on notice as the NBA's next powerhouse, now led by one of the top 3 players in the game, Steph Curry. Number 2. After winning the only unanimous MVP ever awarded, Steph was hyper-focused on winning back-to-back championships to validate his back-to-back and unanimous MVP status. Steph doesn't just often express ruthless emotion on or off the basketball court, but now he felt that he wasn't getting the respect he deserved, the respect a back-to-back MVP is worthy of. Now look, the Warriors ended up running through the 2016 Western Conference playoffs, losing just 2 games to the first 10 games of the tournament, and it was that time that Curry expressed his killer instinct by ending Portland's hopes in Game 4.
Down the right wing, screen by Draymond. Curry with another 3. Got it!
Scoring 40, off the bench I might add, and shouting to the Portland fans, "I'm back." Now, Steph and the Warriors didn't face any adversity throughout the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, nor should they have, considering just how much more inferior Portland was and how much more inferior Houston was the round before. Everything changed so quickly, and the Warriors were riding high off their 2015 championship and hitting autopilot throughout the first 2 rounds of the 2016 playoffs. Now, they found themselves in the 3-1 hole to the Oklahoma City Thunder in the 3rd round. It was a foregone conclusion for everyone. Everyone thought it was over. The media went off on the Warriors. Stephen A. Smith said on First Take the next morning,
"And to be quite honest with you, he's pretty much annihilating him. I mean, it's just the truth."
When discussing how Westbrook was owning Steph in the series, Steph heard the criticism, he heard the scathing comments and the backlash. Here he went again. In games 5, 6, and 7, Curry averaged better than 32 points per game on a scorching 47% from 3-point range. That killer instinct was activated. The Warriors pulled off one of the most historic comebacks in sports history, and Steph sent Kevin Durant knocking on the Warriors' door just 3 weeks later. Number 3. Following their collapse in the 2016 NBA Finals, the Warriors marched into the 2017 NBA Finals with a chip on their shoulder. All year, Steph had to hear it about his poor play in the 3 closeout games in the finals the year before. They said he choked. Kyrie hit a shot in his grill to seal the deal, and people were saying he's overrated. And so Steph smelled blood. The series wasn't much of a contest thanks to Steph and KD's spectacle of brilliant shot making and highlight plays. But oh, so sweet is revenge. During the final minutes of Game 5, Steph dribbled and danced with the ball in his hands. With Kyrie draped all over him, Steph, with 2 seconds left on the shot clock, on the left wing, sidestepped to his left and nailed a contested 3-point bomb, this time in the face of Kyrie.
Curry, 3, bang!
Steph proved that he was the best point guard in the NBA, and proved that his counterparts are just a few ticks below him. Revenge season? complete for the best shooter to ever lace him up. Number 4. I guess the Cavaliers should have warned Kendrick Perkins about talking trash to Steph Curry in the finals. After the Warriors escaped Game 1 of the 2018 NBA Finals, narrowly surviving LeBron's epic 51-point masterpiece, the disgruntled Cavs and the newest bench warmer, Kendrick Perkins, had enough of Curry gloating through the first 3 quarters of Game 2. Steph was doing Steph things as the Warriors went on their usual third-quarter avalanche that run teams literally out of the gym. And when Steph tried a disrespectful turnaround three-pointer in front of Cleveland's bench, just as time expired in the period, Perkins got out of his seat and uttered some sparring language that Steph took just a bit personally. Oh, Perk, maybe if you had just kept your mouth shut. Steph went on a 3-point shooting barrage, hitting 5 out of 5 3-pointers in awe-inspiring fashion. Oracle Arena erupted each time the ball left Steph's hands. He was hitting step-backs, followaways, pull-ups, and even drew a foul on a 3-pointer on Kevin Love down the stretch to seal the deal.
Puts it in, and a foul!
And yeah, Perkins never uttered a word to Steph again in the series. Steph and the Warriors completed the sweep over LeBron's Cavs, led by the Chef's 37-point stirring of the pot in the closeout Game 4. Steph was now a 3-time world champion and a 2-time league MVP, joining some rare company among the all-time greats of the NBA. He was a proven leader and a champ. His legacy would only continue to mount as he continued his quest to all-time NBA supremacy. Number 5. It was another year and another shot at a title for Steph and the Warriors. In a strange turn of events, after the sideline incident between Draymond Green and KD earlier in the season, the one we all know about, the Warriors looked like a troubled basketball team through the 2018-19 season. It got to the point where the Warriors lost an astounding 6 games of 20 or more points at home during that season. Nonetheless, the Warriors were expected to cruise into the NBA Finals on sheer talent and championship DNA. The team's vulnerability was showing throughout the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. They lost 2 games on their home floor to the 8th-seeded Los Angeles Clippers. And in the next round, the Warriors faced a familiar foe in Houston, and after KD went down with his injury in Game 5, people began to speculate if Steph could lift his squad over Harden and the Rockets. Going into Game 6 without KD, the Rockets saw their opportunity and felt that this would finally be the year they would break through and take down the mighty Warriors. Steph hadn't scored in the first half. He only had a mere 10 points entering the fourth quarter. The Toyota Center was alive and was ready to bring the house down on the short-handed Warriors. Then Steph happened. Steph Curry erupted for 23 points in the period, including a nasty 3-point dagger in the face of James Harden. Again, Curry showed that when his legacy was put to the test, he would respond and remind the world of his unanimous MVP stature. Steve Kerr said after the game, if that game didn't personify Steph Curry, I don't know what does. It was the first time in 102 playoff games which Steph failed to score in the first half. But as he's shown time and time again, when the doubt on Steph Curry grows, his play in the most meaningful moments elevates. Number 6. If you thought that would be the last time Steph would be doubted, at least in the same playoffs, you were wrong. Because in the following series, another star backcourt stood in the way of a 5th consecutive finals appearance for Steph's Warriors.
I ain't gonna lie, Dame one of my favorite players too, y'all. If y'all ain't know, man, Dame one of my favorite players. That boy.
It was Damian Lillard,
like
CJ McCollum, and the 3rd seed, Portland Trailblazers. KD's status was still uncertain, and he would remain out indefinitely, so everybody wondered, could Steph lift the Warriors 4 more times to reach the NBA Finals? Well, what transpired in the next 4 games was simply artistry by the game's best point guard. The series was a lot closer than it looked in the end. After all, a 4-0 sweep would tell you that Golden State toyed with the Blazers all series long and won each game by 35 points. Well, not exactly. As impossible as it sounds, Dame and the Blazers squandered 3 double-digit leads in consecutive games. 2 of those blown leads took place on the Blazers' home court in games 3 and 4. But don't let that distract you from the fact that Steph may have played the single greatest statistical series in a 4-game sweep in the history of the NBA. Yes, you heard that right. Perhaps never in the then 72 years of the NBA had a player been more dominant in a sweep. So, let's revisit what exactly Steph Curry did during that series. In 4 games, Steph scored 146 total points, which is the most total points scored in a 4-game stretch of a series by any player in NBA history. Oh, yeah, he did that on 47, 43, 94 shooting splits. You talk about artistry and motion, that's pure effortless scoring that left even the Portland fans chanting MVP. Portland fans were left dispirited, as both Dame and CJ were underwhelming through the 4 games. And with KD sidelined for the entire series, Dame and company really believed that this could be their year to reach the NBA Finals for the first time in the Dame-CJ era. But these fans also knew they were watching something truly special, seeing the greatest shooter ever grace the final stage for the 5th time in as many years, something only LeBron and Bill Russell's Celtics had done. Number 7. Before he became one of the faces of the league and shattered all the shooting marks, he was just a willowy 6'2" or 3" 170-pound guard. And despite being selected 6th overall in the 2009 draft, no one really saw the light-skinned sniper extraordinaire on his way. The Warriors for the first couple of years of Steph's career were a bad team. The soon-to-become dynasty was struggling to win 30 games in a regular season. But from winning 23 games in 2012 to 47 in 2013, Steph's emerging Warriors were going to make the playoffs for the first time since 2007. You could point to that year as the year Steph Curry officially arrived. Steph wasn't selected to the NBA All-Star game in 2013, and he probably wasn't too happy about it. So, just 10 days later, Steph lit up the Knicks in Madison Square Garden with his then career-high 54 points. Steph had arrived. Left wing 3, right wing 3, top of the key 3, and a host of in-your-face threes. Steph couldn't have asked for a better showcase opportunity than what he got in the mecca of basketball. In New York City, under the bright Broadway lights, his performance left us in awe. Number 8. The Warriors went from dynasty to calamity during the pandemic-stricken 2019-2020 season. This was mainly in thanks to injuries that kept Steph hampered all year. With Klay Thompson recovering from ACL surgery and KD's departure for Brooklyn, Golden State fell precipitously in the Western Conference standings. They won a franchise-worst 15 games. In 2021, Steph was back and healthy, and what would be his first complete season without KD, the former MVP felt the need to remind the world of his former unanimous MVP status. During that season, Steph played with a huge chip on his shoulder and was out for blood. Just 2 weeks into the start of the season, Steph did it again to the Warriors. He scored a current career-best 62 points on a ridiculous 8 threes made. Let me not fail to mention the fact that he scored 62 in 36 minutes of action. Steph finished the year averaging a league-best 33 points per game. And if you thought KD robbed us of Steph's prime, he just gave you assurance that he'd be dropping defenders and nailing 35-foot shots well into the future. Number 9. Steph's unanimous MVP season just might have been the single greatest MVP season ever. He's the only man in the 75 history of the NBA that can say, I won a unanimous MVP. Steph eclipsed the 50-40-90 mark that year, broke his previous record for threes made in a single season, and was by far the best player on the most winningest regular season team in league history. The list goes on and on. But there was one game that we particularly remember from the 2016 season. Perhaps it was the game Steph made KD want to jump ship and join him in Golden State. On February 27, 2016, Steph and the powerhouse Warriors went into OKC to show everyone that there remains a big gap between them and the rest of the West. And what Steph went on to do that game officially made him the biggest draw in the NBA. He was becoming the face of the league. Steph buried the Thunder with 46 points, but it was the brilliant shot making, the graceful finishing around the rim, and the razzle-dazzle ball handling that made this performance so thrilling to witness. This was arguably Steph's coldest-blooded moment he's had in his career. In a nip-tuck ball game that went into overtime, Steph stole the whole show, nailing a three-pointer just past the OKC logo to win the game.
They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry!
Every opposing star point guard came into a game against the Warriors that season, wanting to challenge Steph and prove that they were better. No matter who stood across from the chef, he showed up and showed out against all the NBA's elite on the way to winning consecutive MVP awards. While it may not have been the greatest regular season game winner ever, it just may be the most disrespectful made shot by any player we've ever seen. It was epic. The legend of Steph Curry continues to expand. He has forever revolutionized not just the NBA, but basketball entirely. His lengthy resume may be fabulous enough, but it's the ridiculous range shooting, the logo shots, and the look-away three-pointers that will inspire generations of talent to come. I mean, it already has. Even if we were to call it quits today, Steph is a multiple-time MVP winner, a 3-time champion, the greatest shooter ever, and won the MVP-leading 73-win basketball team. Pair that with the dazzling game and the legacy he's left for generations of shooters, Steph is on a Mount Rushmore pace and has definitely claimed his number as truly one of the greatest players to ever play. Who's ready for the next best Steph moment?
Nice into this one, yeah. Whew. If you guys enjoyed this one, y'all know what to do. Click on the last reaction on your screen right now, man. Some post notifications. We out there, man. Steph, you know what I'm saying? Let me know what else you want me to react to as well.